Next up is Amrin, who designed off the word seasons in the pastel color palette.
Hello, so for this challenge I got to choose a theme, and that was seasons, and the color options I paired with it was pastels, just so I have a wider range of colors to use. Within my designs I have an object to correspond to each seasons. I also use color to capture mood and tone for each season to show the contrast between the different seasons as well. So for spring, I chose to do a pink flower on a pastel green background with vines to get a sense of growth. For autumn, I chose to do an orange autumn leaf with a yellow background of abstract leaf elements representing falling leaves. And then for winter, I chose to do a swing flag, and that has a white snowflake with a cold blue background with snow. And then if I had to choose a Genesis pattern to use, I would use the Genesis pattern 5000 with the different sizes of circles. It works well with all my designs just because there are circle elements within my designs, and you'll see that repeating shape, and I want the Genesis pattern to be cohesive and enhance my design by adding another element of shine to it.
Oh my goodness, I love this flag so much. This was very successful. The Genesis overlay that he put with the gold dots. Now, usually for these Genesis flags, that is a little bit more compacted, but I still think it would work. I love how it's so delicate, but we know what it is. And it's a little bit abstract at the same time. We've got a lot of different things to make it visually interesting. And the color I love. It's so delicate, and a lot of people do not use the color kind of peach and white and cream, but it is very successful, and how he laid that leaf on the flag I think will look excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful flag. Like, it doesn't have to be, with leaves and whatnot, you could cover the whole flag with leaves, but having just one large leaf or like one large item that you could recognize from a distance, it's just so easy on the ear. Like, all right, it's fall, I get it, there's color, and it's just a beautiful thing in general. I really love this.
Yeah, I like that I don't have to guess what it is. Like, the second that flag opens and I take one look at it, I get one count to see what it is, I know what it is. The colors are great. The overlay is great. I think it just works very well all together. Like, the attention to detail, the texture on it, there's something to look at on every single part of the flag.
Well, again, this makes my heart so happy to see that he has really utilized the shape of the flag to enhance the imagery that he's put on there. And he didn't just throw a snowflake on there at random. He put bokeh, and we've got like some little glimmer, it looks like snow, and we've got still that nice Genesis overlay, but we did a silver this time. And from thinking from one flag to the next, we went on this warmer tone to this nice cool color. And he put like a nice outer glow around the snowflake to make it look a little bit more like beautiful and romantic. But it's very successful. I'm very well done.
Yeah, I mean, I love this flag. I mean, I would love to spin this, honestly. Sometimes whenever you open a flag for the first time, you're like, wow, this is like so gorgeous. And with swing flags too, you're holding it so close to the pole or so close to the tab that whenever you do spin it, you can really see that circular pathway, and that would really show up whenever you spin this flag. And so I really love this design as well.
Yeah, same thing. Like the placement of that snowflake is perfect. The attention to detail and everything besides like that main snowflake it's all there. It's so well thought out. Like the snow, the texture, the bokeh, like you were saying, the colors, like all the combinations, the silver, Genesis overlay, everything about this flag. Yeah, it works. It makes me want to buy it.
Well, I can definitely see we've got the pastel color scheme. I like how he tries to use multiple elements and give a lot of visual interest to the flag. One thing on this is when you kind of squint your eyes, it all just kind of blends together. I would like to see maybe that flower pop a little bit more against the background. And how about maybe turning the whole flower over a bit and letting it line up against the pole pocket and the petals going out, because this mimics the first one a little too much for me. But as far as the design goes, it's very successful. I just feel like that the flower petals need to be angled just a hair different, and it would really make that kind of spirally green pop more too.
Yeah, another one that I really love. Again, it's pretty pastel and a little bit, I think, too faded for me from a distance. I mean, it's a great design. And then I think with the flower, just maybe seeing just the center of the flower would be a little bit more clear. Like, oh, I know this is like maybe petals of a flower, but maybe seeing the center of the flower would really help us show like this is a flower to the audience and be really obvious with that.
Yeah, for sure. I love the colors. Still, a lot of the elements and the attention to detail, just playing with the placement, I think would make this take it to the next level and really elevate it and make it as cohesive as the other two were. Next up, we have Allison, whose designs were based off the word Latin in the color red.
So for my show theme, I was given Latin and the color red, and I really wanted to make those colors show through in the patterns that I used that are traditionally seen in Latin American designs and clothing and whatnot. And I also included a photo that I had my roommate take of some of the objects that I have that I purchased in Mexico or in some Mexican themed markets in Los Angeles. And we were able to arrange those with some paper hanging backgrounds to make that all cohesive and show off really all of the artistic design of Latin America. So I hope you enjoy.
I definitely know that we're going for a Latin theme, and I definitely see the red. So she's covered her two main challenges there. However, they say that there is sometimes too much of a good thing, and I think we have a little too much of a lot of good things going on right now, and it's visually, it's a little bit distracting. I would maybe hone in on a few of these items, or let some fall to the background and some be pulled to the front. So say we want the kind of ceramic sculptures, the skull and the like the dog, make those larger and more clear and pull them to the front. And then if we want the kind of the Day of the Dead type of flags that we have back there, maybe take the opacity down half and let those fall behind. And then we've got like this kind of Aztec print over in the corner. Maybe that could be enlarged and pushed even further to the background. But I like that she's being creative and trying to bring all these elements in. We just may need to hone it in just a little bit.
Yeah, this flag is very chaotic. A lot of elements going on here. And, you know, whenever a flag opens, you want to see like what's going on. What is that? I think the audience would be a little bit too confused, be like, oh, there's too many elements on here. Not quite sure what's going on, especially when they start spinning. So yeah, I mean, we do see the elements here, and it could be a very fun flag, but yeah, maybe just toning down some of the stuff so the audience can, from an instant, be like, hey, this is what it is. It's Latin, it's red, this is great, and then be able to move on and just enjoy the spinning.
And then going off of that, how do we make it look like it encapsulates the entire flag? Like right now, it looks that as if the image with the skull and the dog are sitting right in the middle, and we just laid it over some red, and then we threw a graphic in the top left corner. Like, how do we make all those things work together cohesively, as far as like their placement and stylistically? Like, what doesn't sit well with me, I guess, with this flag is the fact that that graphic is I'm getting like a different mood from the graphic and like the skull and chihuahua thing that are sitting in the middle. Like, one looks very like digitized, and then the other one looks like a photograph. Like, how do we blend those styles together?
I'm definitely a big fan of these type of flowers, and this definitely gives me that kind of Latin vibe. You see a lot of that as like embroidery and stuff, and so it is a recognizable pattern. However, we just have a pattern on a flag. We need something to make it pop. Say, if this were my flag, what I would do is I would isolate, maybe there's a red and yellow flower in there. I would isolate that and blow a few of them up and have a few as in a large scale. And then we've got the the pattern in the background a little bit, or even take maybe the birds and do those in a larger scale, and play with the elements that you have there. There's a lot of color, there's a lot going on. So the best thing to do is to try to make a little bit more visual interest. There's no point on the flag that really my eye is drawn into.
Yeah, it's a lot to look at whenever imagining the flag open, and what if there's two flags, and there's a lot to look at. So I think, again, as Liz was saying, just maybe focusing on really showing off the red elements that are shown off here, so that whenever the flag opens, maybe there's more directionality, the flowers here, and then maybe some of the elements are trailing off the end. That way, the audience can really appreciate how that flag is moving through space.
Yeah, going off what you said, Liz, blowing up one of those elements and making that like the focus, I think that would help this flag be a lot more successful, because then as it's moving, you still have something to rely on and something that'll help get that overall picture from everyone spinning it, because it's not just gonna be one person. And I feel like from a far distance, it's gonna be really hard to make out every single object that's on this flag while it's spinning.
So I believe this would be her Genesis flag, and because we've got the Genesis dots. However, when the Genesis pattern goes over, it's going to go over the whole thing. There's not really going to be that fade. So maybe she may want to just incorporate those dots as simply a design element. And the dots I actually like, but they need to be brought further into the flag and fade off into smaller dots. Okay, so we've got these vertical lines cutting off the flag. If she wanted to keep those lines there and that was pertinent to the flag design, we would want to curve them to the shape of the flag, so it's got a nice fluidity to it. I think that those are the little details in there, are those the little flags like we saw from her very first flag, the paper kind of Day of the Dead flags. And I think what would have been perhaps more successful is blowing it up a bit. Right now it's gonna lose that visual interest because the details are too small. We need it a little bit bigger so we know what's going on.
Yeah, I think the checkerboard design here, you usually don't really see checkerboard designs because usually when you think of checkerboard, maybe you're thinking of like a finish, race to the finish flag. And even with those designs, it usually curves off. So again, maybe kind of morphing this so that it really goes with the flag, and the directionality would be a lot cooler. And the Genesis overlay is super cool here. Yeah, and I couldn't tell at first that there was purple dots there. So from a distance, it'd be even less harder to see, or worse, you couldn't see it from a distance. So I think utilizing that element would be a lot better for her.
One thing that's really important to me looking at flags and like looking at them as a set is, do they tell a story from first to last? And right now the colors just in general pop out to me. Like, these are very muted. The flag that we just saw was very bold. The flag before that was a mix of the two. Like, how do we make them all look cohesive, even just from their colors or what they're trying to say? How do we make them all look cohesive from beginning to end? Next up, we have Julian. His design focus was on the word rainforest in the neon color palette.
Ravage Forest, essentially electronic type of music that you can alter different songs, such as like Welcome to the Jungle or so, to be able to get that neon rainforest theme. We also have this band top I have made to inspire the show. For this flag, I wanted to do like a Creatures of the Night thing, definitely inspired by Disney's Forest when there were the eyes pop out of the dark forest with a spectrum wrap of purple. The next is the swing flag that has a lot of different kind of tropical plants and flowers that are found in the rainforest, which also you can use the teal spectrum wrap. Of course, there is definitely one that is an animal print, very nice and bold with a design, very Lisa Frank, but a little tamed. You can either use the 5000 or the 3000 Genesis overlays in either electric blue or magenta, with also the citrus yellow spectrum wrap overlay. Next is a muted neon design of a snake print, so you can see all the details of the snake design with the 6000 Genesis overlay that you can do in the lime green, and then you can have the spectrum wrap of the orange to really make it nice and good. Next we have a good super swing flag that can definitely cover the field and give that nice atmosphere look of that neon rainforest design patterns as well too, that can be used with the black spectrum wrap.
So I see we have a little bit of that neon green, and we've got a little bit of that neon orange, which kind of fulfills the challenge needs. However, neons can be difficult because when we print flags, they're not going to come out quite the color you think that they will. So I think he may need to add a little bit more in there to get that neon vibe. I think from far away, it may kind of look a little bit muddy. I like the two eyes on there. I feel like they need to be angled with the flag a little bit, not just straightforward. And then we've got this kind of like cool floral leafy print in the background. And I like all these elements. Like, I think it's a little wacky and quirky, but sometimes you can make that work. However, this feels just a little bit disjointed to me.
Yeah, I think the eyes could be a lot bigger. Like this, from first glance, this is a really fun looking flag. You know, you can tell like, oh, there's something hiding in the grass. But maybe from a distance, like these small elements could be a little bit hard to read from a distance. We would still see the eyes and popping out from the background. So I really like that, and I think this could be a little bit more fun, even more fun than it already is.
I think I see where he was going with this flag. I wonder how it would look if he took those orange and green, like little, they kind of look like fireworks to me, and made it actual grass that was neon green and orange. Like made it so that it was actual, like a grass graphic with like neon green and orange highlights, so that I was actually getting the eyes looking through the grass. And that way the whole thing would be a little bit more cohesive. Like you get that whole, I don't want to say cartoony, but like that like you get the whole like cartoon graphic kind of like mood that he's going for, like all the way across the entire flag. Because I love the background, I like the eyes, I get where that's coming from in the rainforest. I think it's just that bottom thing that's throwing it off.
So I like this tropical color look. It definitely goes with his theme. However, we're getting into the territory of pasting an image directly onto a template. And sometimes that works. Sometimes that really does work, and you just get lucky with how the image is and how it flows. I feel like this needs to be scrolled in on like quite a bit more, like so we can see some of these details a little bit more up close. So it's kind of abstract, but we still know what it is. I would also maybe do some sort of a gradient going down to the bottom to give the flag a little bit more visual interest.
Yeah, we have a lot going on here. I think I do see the rainforest theme. Maybe we're just missing a little bit of the neon theme. Like I wish maybe some of the elements like take out the shadows and just really show off neon colors with some neon elements. So maybe again, just zooming in and showing more of the rainforest elements that really show off that neon theme would be a lot easier to see for the audience, especially when it opens up.
Yeah, one thing that I think he could have done on this was use one of those flowers to accent the shape of the flag and like really make that the focus, so that we're not dealing with so much busyness with all these flowers and having to really fight out what we're looking for.
So this doesn't make me think of a neon color scheme. However, I do love these two colors together. So even though it doesn't really fit with the neon, I do like this kind of magenta and this green. I think it's very successful. I think that with, okay, the pink palms that he has, I think that could be a really cool element. I don't think they're placed in the right spot for me for it to be successful, but I do like that they are isolated images that he could really just move around and make more successful. Again, I do like that he has kind of tried to point them down to enhance the shape of the flag, but they're just not quite in the right spot.
Yeah, I really love the directionality here. They're all sort of pointing in this direction. So when the flag opens and you see it spin, it'll blend in because you're spinning it so fast. But you can tell that there is direction whenever you spin this flag. And even if it does open, that it is a beautiful flag to look at. Again, just maybe a little bit more neon. You know, I could always want more. So maybe play around with the colors more and see what other options we have.
Yeah, same thing. Like those colors, I feel like we can amp up the vibrancy so we really get that like neon jungle kind of vibe. Going off of what Liz said, placement. Like placement can make or break a flag design. And it can make your choreography look good. It can make the overall visual package look good. But if the placement is wrong, everything's just not going to work together.
Well, now we have the neon that I've been looking for. This is definitely the brightness that I was hoping that he would pull out. However, we've come back to the an image just kind of pasted on the flag. Anybody can do that. So as a designer, what he needs to do is think outside of the box and what could he add to it to make it really pop or make it more amazing. I think maybe adding a texture in the yellow part could help. I believe maybe the spots being different scales could help. And even a good gradient in the background can just make a plain flag look that much better.
Yeah, and one of the things with neon, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. I get scared of neon only because you really expose your color guard that way. Neon sticks out from a distance, especially on a green field. If it's dark grass, light grass, even what the band is wearing, it really doesn't matter. Once that flag opens, you're looking at the color guard. So having this print is very exposed. So you just want to really be careful and make sure like, oh, maybe add some shadows, change it up. So that way you're not just so exposed and it's just one bright rectangle that you can compare from person to person. So a little bit scary to open, but I mean, it's a fun design and it goes with the theme here.
Yeah, and it's just, at the end of the day, how do you make your stuff look different and how do you make someone want to get you as a designer and for you to design their package? Because like designing a flag is important and anybody can stick on a pattern that they find online or have something that they kind of like and just find something stock. Like I feel like this could do a lot of good things if there was just a little bit more attention to detail with the small things, like adding texture, adding some depth, adding some, just all those little small things that you don't think would matter, that would like make this just a print, taking it to like something custom. That's all for this week's episode. Be sure to stay up to date with all things Next Designer by following Styleplus Band on all their social media platforms. And be on the lookout for part 2 of the Configure Challenge to see how the designers' clients react to their marching band costume designs. Thanks so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.